In this human experience we call life, we are faced with so many choice points. And although the information here is really timeless because there are so many of these points in time in which we are faced with a choice that we need to make, a change of direction or something that's in the tangible, a change to our perception even. Right now, we are at in a very intense period in which we are being offered so many opportunities to show to the universe, to show to ourselves, to show to spirit and to source what we are choosing to align with as we move forward. So if you're here, you have obviously been on a healing journey or you are beginning one, and I offer this information to you to help you now as we navigate the choices that are in front of us as we are ascending and moving into new earth. And also I suggest and hope that you will keep this information as you move forward, because again, the journey of the human experience is filled with these moments in which we are given opportunities to make a choice, to choose to align with the dream of who we want to be, the dream of what we want to experience, and to align with our highest self. So with that being said, I am Toby, the Galactic Intuitive, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time, your attention, your energy, and your openness to these messages. As always, if you are here, if you are listening to my voice and watching the video, you are receiving not only the information that's being transmitted here, but also the frequencies that are being transmitted. And so within those frequencies are activations and attunements to assist you in this process, in the process of your personal growth and expansion and your ascension journey. So we're going to start with a few key topics that are helpful for me, that my guides and I've received and learned along my journey, and a few tools as well for you to utilize, tips and tools and strategies for you to utilize as you're moving through this process of being within this choice point energy, and helping you to discern which pathway aligns with the you that you want to be and the you that you now are, the new you. So this leads us to the first theme that I want to talk about, the first tool, the first strategy that I use, and that would be discernment in recognizing the choice that the past you would make and the choice that the new you would make. And there are a few things to keep in mind here. One is that the past you speaks differently than your intuition, because it can be difficult to discern what is fear and what is associated with maybe the anxiety or the fear that we feel around uncertainty as we're moving forward in a new direction, and what is the energies and the emotions that we're feeling as part of what our past reaction would be. Because as you're moving through these choice points as the new you, remember, this is uncharted territory. You are moving through these times and these choices as the new you. You've not encountered these situations from the frequency that you are now living within and emitting. So that changes everything, right? Your choices and your decisions are going to be different. And so by default, that means that there's going to be a ton of uncertainty around it, even when you're aligned with your intuition, even when you're aligned with your highest self and aligned with those decisions that keep you moving in that direction. So keeping that in mind. So what's a differentiator? How does it feel different in your body? Um, the old you is going to be more reactive. So instead of having a moment of feeling into the energy of this choice point, there's going to be an immediate reaction or maybe a trigger. There will be a sense of being unbalanced. Um, and something that I've really noticed is oftentimes we feel like the right choice is going to have a lot of energy behind it, right? Well, it does, but that energy may feel very, very differently than the energy that would be behind choices the old you would make, right? So it may be that you experience a little bit of almost like a jitteriness, like an overstimulation. But recognize when, if you're feeling that, recognize that that's not necessarily the energy of flow. It's not the energy of the momentum of moving in alignment with your higher self. That's the energy of impulsiveness. That is also the energy of making decisions from a place of a wound as well. Maybe being pushed to make a decision, or if you have a history in which your ability to make decisions was taken away from you, either emotionally or by manipulation, that being in that space of having to make a decision could feel very uncomfortable. So that sense of imbalance, the sense of being almost jittery, on edge, a little edgy, and wanting to move forward quickly through that space of uncertainty, those can be key points to tell you that that's not your intuition. That's the past you that's talking. That's talking from the place of the shadow. And as we are making these important decisions that align us with the timeline of us going forward, with the timeline of ascension, the timeline of our highest good, it's not that we take our shadow with us, right? And so our shadow is never going to stop speaking to us. But what happens is you begin to recognize that voice. You begin to understand why that voice is speaking to you in that way and saying those things. You understand that it comes from a place of wanting to keep you safe, but from the standpoint of the past and from a standpoint of coming from those places of wounding and trauma. A lack of awareness. So maybe it's not so much that there's wounding or trauma there, but it's just a generalized lack of awareness. So those are some key points in differentiating and being discerning in looking at, as you're making these choices, what's the difference between the past you speaking and the new you speaking. The new you speaking is going to speak from an intuitive space. The new you can feel the uncertainty and potentially the fear, right? Because again, it's uncharted territory here. But it's not from the mental space. It's an uncertainty because you're in these new experiences, right? It's still, you can feel uncertain and still feel balanced. You can feel uncertain and you can still trust in yourself and in the guidance that you're receiving, and in the knowing, the physical sensations of being on the path that is in alignment with your highest good and your ascension. All right, so discernment was our first point. We're going to go into another point, another strategy that I use when faced with choices, and especially these big choices that align me with a particular timeline. And again, this is something that's so prevalent right now for all of us as we're ascending. I wanted to mention, though, before we do that there will be a third suggestion or strategy that will be available along with a light language activation to assist you in this process. And that'll be available as a download that I will send to you directly. So look for the link in the description box for that. I'd be happy to send it to you. And that way it allows it to be accessible to you at any point in the future, as well as I said to begin with. Although we are in this space-time of being given so many opportunities to align with the timeline that we want to create for ourselves, that we have already pre-paved, and we're being given opportunities of, okay, go this way for this one or go this way for this one, and which one are you choosing? We are also in a space-time of the split occurring between 3D and 5D. And so this has a lot to do with these choices that we're being given the opportunity to make. I don't like to call them tests. They're opportunities for us to show to ourselves, more than anyone or anything, that that we have in fact changed. We have in fact gone through this healing process. We have in fact gained incredibly higher levels of awareness and perception and discernment that allow us to recognize, have that discernment we just talked about, when we're making a choice from the old us and when we're making a choice from the new us. And what does that feel like? And so getting back into that. So moving on to the next theme strategy that I employ and that I find to be really, really helpful in these situations, and I'm using it so frequently, is visualization. And I know you guys are familiar with this, but let's talk about what type of visualization, okay? When you allow yourself to envision the life of your dreams, the you that is ascending, the you that is embodied on new earth, what does that look and feel like? What does that look and feel like? And really taking time to get to know that you. How does that feel in your body? How does your mental space feel? What do you think that new version of you is thinking and speaking and expressing? And so which direction at this choice point feels similarly to that visualization of the new you at New Earth, the new you in the 5D? So choice A, what is the outcome of choice A? What does that feel like for you? Does it align? Is it coherent with the frequency and the sensations of that which you are working towards and creating and wanting, desirous to experience for yourself? Or is it choice B? A key point here is that it is not necessary to be able to see all of the steps between the choice point to the full realization of your dream life. This is where a lot of us, me included, can get hung up, right? If I make this choice, then it feels really good, but I can't see the steps to get me to the full realization of my dream life. You don't have to. You don't have to. This is one choice, right? This is one point in space-time. And yes, there is importance on it and around it, but it's not important for you to be able to see the steps forward. Again, you're charting this new path, right? So each step, each choice that you make along the way is going to take you a little bit further down this path. It's not necessary for you to see beyond that point in space-time. And to do so is actually going to pull you out of alignment with the feeling of that outcome that you are moving towards. It pulls you out of that because it tries to, let's see how to say this. It tries to define the steps to an outcome when you are evolving with each step forward, right? So each time you're faced with a choice point, you're actually a new version of you. If from, let's say we're point A here, right? Point B is the next point, is the next choice point. So point A is where we are right now. And now you're trying to map out all the steps it's going to take for you to get to this outcome of this dream life. But you're still the you at point A. You haven't made that decision yet. So you haven't had the experience. You haven't had the sensations. You haven't had the awareness. You haven't had the new perceptions, the new even feeling into frequency changes that occur from point A to point B. That's not even to the outcome. How can you possibly know what those steps are? Because you're changing with each choice. So allowing yourself the freedom and the space to make this choice here, because you can sense, you can feel the alignment with that choice to that dream life or whatever it is that you are moving towards. And I'm generally speaking about ascension and about your personal growth, because all of the things that, if we're on a spiritual journey and if we're on a path of growth and expansion as an individual, those things are one and the same. It is going to take you on that is the ascension journey. So any goals that you are reaching towards as part of your personal growth are along their aspects of that path. They are some of the stepping stones on that path. So just double checking my notes here, and what I've written is, it is for us to feel into which decision aligns in the frequency of sensory coherence of that dream life, or that dream job, or that dream relationship, or that dream location or environment, or community, soul tribe, friendship, whatever it might be, family, whatever it might be. But making your decisions from that place of being able to visualize, what does it feel like to be in that place that I am desirous of experiencing? And does choice A or choice B, which one feels similarly? Which one aligns with it? All right, I hope these were helpful. As I said, I'm going to continue this. We're going to look at another strategy. We're going to also look at, or not look at, we might talk a little bit more about that separation between 3D and 5D. We are definitely going to channel a light language activation for you to assist you in this process. And again, this can be utilized at any point in time when you are faced with a decision, when you are faced with a transition, even a point in time where you are moving from one thing to the next, even after a decision's been made. The intention of this is to support you through these shifts and changes and transformations. And there are so many similarities in all of those. And the energy about about transformation and the energy around a shift and a transition is very similar, regardless of what we're shifting to or from. So thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. I will be back very soon with another video. Make sure you look for the link in the description box, fill out the form. I will send you the next part of this video. And in the meantime, sending you all so much love, and I will be back soon.